Nothing contained in this podcast should be considered a substitute for professional medical advice. This content does not represent our respective employers and is purely the opinion of the podcast hosts. We are not your personal medical providers. Sorry, friends. So, if you have concerns or are seeking a diagnosis or treatment, please seek individual advice from a healthcare provider in your area. We are not liable for any risks associated with acting upon the information contained in this podcast. This is intended for educational and entertainment purposes only, so enjoy the ride.
Please drink responsibly and in moderation. Before drinking, please be sure to be of the legal drinking age for your country. We do not encourage the misuse of alcohol.
Welcome to Medical Media Mixer, the perfect cocktail. I'm Nicole Peniston, psychologist.
And I'm Tara Prisco, physician assistant. And Nicole is very giddy because she could see the numbers.
Yeah, this time the numbers worked. So I was like, yay!
We were commiserating before we started and just going to review all of our woes of the week.
Yeah.
We're
supposed to talk about what made us smile this week, but we can also have a contrasting segment of what pissed you off this week.
Yeah. Well, let's start with something fun. How was the 1,000,000 degrees 4th of July weekend in Cape May?
Girl, it was 1,000,000 degrees. It took me 4 hours to get there when it should normally take like 2. Everything went wrong that day. I had a nail appointment, which was scheduled 2 weeks ago. I show up at my nail place. My nail lady's like, "Why are you here?" And I'm like, "I have an appointment." She's like, "You're not in the book." And I'm like, "Wait, what?" And then of course, I'm like, "I made the appointment online." She's like, "Well, do you have proof?" I'm like, "You don't send proof."
Oh, no.
Where am I supposed to get proof from? So it actually worked out in my favor. Her first person no-showed, so she was able to take me. But I've said this before. I don't know if she actually listens, but I love you, Kelly, but you're super ADHD. And so I was there for 3.5 hours.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. So I got on the road a little bit later than I planned, but I did finally get there. And then we enjoyed most of the weekend. Deb, who is in denial that she gets sun poisoning, got sun poisoning.
Jeez.
And was up and nauseous and vomiting all night, and then said she got food poisoning. I was like, well, I ate the same thing, and so did everybody else at the hotel, and I don't hear anybody else. So I think it's the sun poisoning. And she doesn't believe me, but what do I know? I'm just a doctor. Not that kind.
But still, I mean, All right, so some good, some bad, I guess.
What about you? How was your holiday weekend?
We stayed home to stay away from crowds, which was good.
Mm-hmm.
I was preparing for my boards, which I did take this week.
How'd that go? Yeah, you took it on Monday, right?
Yeah, it was Tuesday. It was way easier than I thought. I studied way more than I needed to.
No, it's better that way.
Yeah, it is. But in the middle of all this, I was inspired for a future episode because I was going through something that I haven't gone through in 2 years. Is it
your migraine episode that you're going to do?
It's cluster headaches. So cluster headaches, they call them suicide headaches. That's how bad it is.
Okay.
Bad. I have an abortive med, like a shot that I could take, but it happens right after you fall asleep. So you wake up an hour after you fell asleep. In 10 out of 10, I am dying. My head is exploding. And yeah. So then it finally got to the point where I was like, all right, Monday I'll text one of my colleagues who's my primary to put me on steroids, put me on a preventative med and all this. So also over that weekend, just walking, doing nothing, walking across the room. I threw my back out and I was like, what? I did nothing. I did nothing.
What happens at our age?
So my SI joint, your sacroiliac joint, my left side only, it was so bad. I could barely walk on it, taking Motrin on top of the headaches, on top of everything. So now I'm on 60 milligrams of prednisone. It's good. It's bad. I don't know. Lots of energy. I might talk very quickly.
Should you be drinking?
Well, that's the other thing. When we come to my drink, I'm going to make it for my next episode, but I will probably only take a sip.
Okay. Or make it non-alcoholic. And then
it's
just
kind of hard. It's all alcohol.
Oh, okay.
But I'll take a little taste and take a picture.
Yeah, then pop it in the freezer, have it when you're off the meds.
When I'm ready. That's true. It's not even the meds. It's that the cluster headaches. Alcohol can severely set them off, and I'm not putting myself in that place.
Yeah.
But prednisone is amazing in that you have a ton of energy. But the problem is then you don't sleep well.
Yeah.
So I took Benadryl to knock myself out. I sleep the first 4 hours of the night, and then I'm tossing and turning and sweating and having chills and dreaming behind my eyelids. And it's this whole second half of the night is a disaster. So
you're a hot mess this week.
I am. So I'll be tapering down, and we'll learn more about this in the cluster headache episode that I added later on this year.
Yeah. As a frequent migraine sufferer, I feel bad for you.
It's badness. But luckily I have the resources to know what I need and the people to get it to me
and how
quickly.
to manage it. Yeah.
Yeah, because the problem is getting with a neurologist. Like last I saw them was 2 years ago. So to start back up again is really tricky. So
yeah,
that was my fun. But among all that, I still think I did great on my boards. So 10 years to go before I have to take them again.
Well, hopefully that's what made you smile this week.
Yeah, I think so. It was totally
Nice.
easy. So that was good stuff.
What made me smile this week? So at the hotel we stayed at, they did like a free 4th of July barbecue on the 4th of July. And like, so it was all people who stayed in the hotel there. And we were sitting at like the end of this table. And at the other side of the table, there was this little family. It was the grandmom, the mom and the dad, and 2 kids. And they were like playing, what's that card game? It's like Taco Cat something.
Go Cheese Pizza. Yep.
They were playing that game, which was cute. And then there were like a bunch of like other like families, little kids running around. And this adorable little boy runs by and he was like impeccably dressed, like all decked out for 4th of July. And the dad turns around and he goes, "Oh my gosh, you're so cute. I want another." Never mind. Like he looked at his kids and was like, "Yeah, as much as it would be great to have another little one, no, I'm good." Yeah.
That's funny.
So that made me smile. It was funny. Yeah. So.
Yeah, kids are great from a distance.
Yeah. And there was this gorgeous little girl. Like she could have been like a little baby model. She had like this cute little dress on. Then she had like these red, white, and blue sparkles in her hair. And this other girl who was like a little bit older than her, like came over to like play and she had sparkles in her hair. And the little one's like, "Look." And I was like, "Oh, you guys are so cute." And it was like, they just like ran up to each other, just started playing. I was like, why can't adults just be so nice?
That's
and like,
so true.
Yeah. Why can't we just like walk up to some random person and be like, "So what's up?"
I know. I'm not good at that at all.
I mean, social anxiety, adult expectations.
Yeah. I can ask people their deepest, darkest secrets in an exam room, but like in real life, I'm like, "Nicole, you give this person our card for the podcast and tell them about us."
Which clearly I have no problem doing that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, and we had shared a little on our socials back. Now it'll be like weeks in the past that we went to see Morbid.
We did. We saw Morbid live. It was fun times.
Yes. Radio City, big venue, lots of people. We could not get merch because the line was so long. That
I know. I really wanted that shirt.
It was cute, but I have to check and see if there's anything left over online. I don't know.
I didn't see anything, but I don't know. But we should tag them, let them know that we are fans.
Yeah, I did tag them in that little post that I did.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So that was fun. It was different. It was a long day because
very long day because of FIFA.
And because the thing didn't end till 10:30. We didn't get on the train till we missed the 11:05. We got the 12 something train. By the time we were home to my house, it was like 1:30. By the time you got home, it was like 2:30.
It was like almost 3 by the time I got home. Yeah.
It was a long day.
It was a long day, but we survived it. I was not as terrible the next day as I thought I would be. So
that's good.
It's okay.
Yeah, actually, I didn't like sleep as late as I thought I would either. I actually got up. I thought I was going to be in bed till like noon, but
yeah, we survived it. We can do it.
We can do hard things.
We can.
So, do you have a cocktail to share with me today?
I do, and I realized 15 minutes ago that I was missing one of the ingredients, so I had to improvise.
That's okay. We can do
that. The name of my cocktail is called the Sunshine Daydream, and it is 2 ounces of, according to this, Timberline vodka. I couldn't find that anywhere in the state of New Jersey, so I just used regular old Grey Goose.
Sounds good.
1/2 ounce of Nonino Amaro, which was really hard to find the little bottles of, so I just had to suck it up and buy a big bottle. But honestly, I really like it, so I don't regret it. Then I realized I was out of my 1/2 ounce of fresh orange juice. And then you also need a 1/2 ounce of fresh lemon juice. So what I use to compromise is one of my favorites, San Pellegrino.
Okay.
Limonata.
There you go.
It's not an ad, but if they want to sponsor us, you are welcome to. I would love it because I do enjoy your beverages very much. So I poured that in because it's citrus, and then it added a little sparkling to it. But like I said, the vodka and then Nonino Amaro, it's a nice flavor. So putting this on it, like it was pretty good. It's not what the cocktail was meant to be, but it's what I'm having.
That sounds good to me. It sounds Sunshine Daydreamy.
Yeah. So the film I'm going to talk about is not Sunshine Daydreamy at all. But it was really good. I actually rewatched it last week and I took notes to myself because it's been quite a while since I saw it. I will say I feel like it is on many a TikTok list and other listicles of one of the most depressing movies of all time.
Okay.
So there you go. So should we just get into it?
Sure. I'm ready.
So the name of the movie is Dancer in the Dark. It is
heard of this.
Yeah, it's a the year 2000, psychological tragedy musical written and directed by Lars von Trier. Do you know who Lars von Trier is?
I don't think so.
You
but
probably
do.
It up. You do.
Oh, Björk's in this. Wait.
Yes.
I think I know what this is. Okay.
But Lars von Trier has done, I believe he did Melancholia. He did the Nymphomaniac trilogy. He did, what was that horse movie that Daniel Radcliffe was in? Equus. He did that. Mm-hmm. So he definitely does a lot of psychological, dark movies. But honestly, like I saw all of the Nymphomaniac trilogy. I saw Melancholia. The storytelling is very good. It's a vibe. You got to be in that vibe to get it. Mm-hmm. So like if you ever saw Melancholia, which I feel like I talked very briefly about on an episode a while ago, literally the first 15 minutes of the movie is silence.
Okay.
So like if that's not your jam, you ain't gonna watch the rest of the film, that's for sure.
Right. Yeah.
So Dancer in the Dark stars Björk, who also wrote the entire soundtrack. And also the soundtrack is called Selma Songs. She plays the character Selma, so that's where it comes from. Now, were you a Björk fan?
I wasn't like a fangirl, but like I could appreciate like she's cool, different artsy vibe, like out there, like, that kind of thing. I can, I recognize her songs.
Yeah, for any younger folks who are listening, there probably are none, but I would say the closest like current artist to Björk would be like Sia.
Yeah, quirky.
Like a little quirky,
aloof.
Artsy,
a
lot of like belting out of things. Mm-hmm. But I was actually watching, it actually came up on my TikTok probably because my algorithm knew I was going to talk about this, but there was an interview from Björk about that one famous song, It's So Quiet. Yeah. Yes. So that was actually a cover. It's the only cover she's ever done.
I didn't even know that. I just know it from her.
Yeah, but she did an interview talking about that. And I realized, like, she's always been quirky, like, odd way of dressing. But she actually is, like, gorgeous in this one interview.
Yeah.
Stunning. I'm like, girl, like, yes. Like,
that's why she could pull off a swan dress, okay?
Right. Yeah, not that anyone thought that she was, like, unattractive. But, like, in this where she just, like, has, like, normal hair and, like, normal makeup and normal clothing, you're like, oh, girl, you're very pretty. So Björk, she is from Icelandia, or Iceland, like the yogurt. And so she stars in this movie. And as I said, she wrote the soundtrack because she is mostly known for being a musician. That was really what her main career was. She did a couple of acting roles, but this was really her main starring role, which ironically, it premiered at the 2000 Cannes Film Festival and won the Palme d'Or, which is the Golden Palm. That is the highest award.
Ooh.
So and she also won Best Actress.
Okay.
So obviously, if you're at the Cannes Film Festival and you win, it's pretty fucking good.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're not at the Razzies over here. So there's other famous names in the film. If you have watched it or if you've heard of these people, one of the big ones is the French actress Catherine Deneuve. She is in it and she plays Selma, Björk's character's like best friend. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of other familiar faces, but I feel like you'd have to like see it and be like, oh, I know that person versus like their name and just be like, oh, I don't know who that is.
Right.
So it is actually Dancer in the Dark is actually part of a trilogy. Lars von Trier loves a trilogy. It's the second in the trilogy. Golden Heart was the first movie that came out. I'm sorry. The trilogy is called Golden Heart. The first movie was called Breaking Waves in 96 and The Idiots in 1998. I did not watch either of them. But a lot of times with his trilogies, they're not like fully connected. Like they're more themed versus same character, same story.
Right.
So I don't think you necessarily had to watch those other two films to get it. So let's get into the plot. So it takes place in 1964 in Washington State. And as I said before, Björk plays a character named Selma Kovacs.
Wait, real quick, I'm looking at the cast.
Yes.
And, I recognize a couple of people, but like on the second line down, one of the characters has almost my maiden name, last name. So
really?
Yes. It's Dr. Porconi. Porkorny.
Interesting.
Whereas my maiden name, you people can probably Google me, is Pokorny. Pokorny.
It's not a heavily guarded secret. So.
But there's just that's very rare.
That's not a common last name.
No, just very bizarre. I just was looking at the character names. Okay.
And actually where are you looking at? Because
Google, and I just went to like cast.
I was going to say on the Wikipedia page, it's spelled just like your maiden name.
Really? Pokorny?
Mm-hmm. And there's like, I don't know what language it's supposed to be. So I'm going to say, is it an umlaut? The apostrophe that goes to the right, to the
My
right.
last name is supposedly
No, an umlaut
Czech,
is the squiggly.
so
I don't know what it is. It has an accent.
all these people are European sounding, but
Yes.
it takes place in Washington State.
Yes, because so Selma is from the Czech Republic, and then later on in the movie, they bring in people from her original country.
Oh, I do see here, Dr. Pokorny.
Yeah.
He's my people. I've never
Yes.
seen anyone with my last name. Okay, continue. Sorry.
Yeah. So another popular person who you will definitely know, our friend, we all love him, Stellan Skarsgård is in this movie. Yes. So the plot. Selma Jerskova is a Czech immigrant. She moved to the United States with her 12-year-old son, Gene. They basically have no money. They're renting a trailer in the backyard of these people they made friends with, who are Bill and Linda. And Bill also happens to be a local police officer. So Bill and Linda kind of almost like adopt them in. Like, yes, she rents a trailer and pays them rent and lives there with her son, but like they invite them over for dinner, or like she'll bring them like candy, and like, so they have a positive relationship. But Selma's got a lot going on. She works in a factory with her friend Kathy, who Kathy is played by Catherine Deneuve. I don't know if that was on purpose. And she nicknames her Svalda. I don't know what that means in Czech.
Yeah.
I'm also confused because Björk isn't Czech.
No.
And she doesn't have a Czech accent. So I don't know if they made the character Czech to try to explain her Icelandic accent, or if it was just part of the plot and they're just like, we're casting you. I don't know. It's confusing because it does come up later where it's like, are you really even who you say you are? Anyway, so she works at a factory. It's like a machinery factory. They call it a tool factory. But when you see what she's actually doing, it looks like she's making like the metal inserts of like a sink.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's kind of the machine that she runs. And then there's this really shy, very sweet guy named Jeff who is in love with Selma, and he's always asking to like drive her home from work, or if she wants to go out to dinner. And she's always very nice to him. But at one point she flat out says to him, like, if I wanted a boyfriend, like you would be my boyfriend, but I don't really want a relationship. Like, I'm just focusing on my work and my child, and like, can we just be friends? And he does take no for an answer, but he still is always kind of trying to like, oh, well, I'll drive you home. Oh, we'll go to the movies. Oh, we'll do this. And she's constantly kind of having to push him off a little bit, but he's not like creeper in a way. It's very sweet. It's very endearing. So we come to learn very quickly in the movie that Selma has a degenerative eye condition, and she's essentially going blind. And so all the work that she does, so she works, they don't say exactly, but it definitely seems more than full-time hours at the factory. She saves all of that money. The only thing she pays for is like rent and food. Everything else goes to savings because it is a genetic eye condition. She wants to save it for a surgery for her son. So that will prevent him from going blind. Now, he knows nothing about this. Right. He doesn't even know. He just thinks his mom is cheap and doesn't want to buy him stuff and blah, blah, blah. There's a whole part where it's his birthday and all he really wants is a bike, and she refuses to buy it for him. And then Bill and Linda and Jeff, the three of them get together and they buy Jean the bike, and they really, really have to convince Selma to accept it because she has a lot of pride and she doesn't want to feel like she owes them anything. But then she sees how happy Jean is riding the bike, so she kind of allows it. So also what Selma does in her free time, because not only is she working at the factory, she's also doing this thing called pin carding. So you know when you buy like pins for like sewing, like the needles for sewing, and how they come in a card. She puts the needles on the card by hand. And then she gets like a big case of them, and it has, however many cards in it, and she gets paid per card to do that. So she takes that home and does that at nights or during the day whenever she's not working, because sometimes she'll work a night shift. We'll get into that. So she's essentially working 2 jobs, saving up this money to pay for her son's surgery that he knows nothing about. And everybody thinks she's just being a really strict, cheap person, but she's not. So, but for somehow, some way, Selma finds a little bit of time to star in a little town production of The Sound of Music.
Because, plays don't take any of your time.
They don't. And she is cast as Maria. And it's like so adorable because like watching the movie, that Björk is a singer. So you're like, yeah, makes sense. She would be the star. But when they're like showing it, you can tell like she wasn't their first choice. Mm-hmm. But she's there, and then she's always trying to jazz it up. So like she's practicing, I don't remember what song it is, but she wants to add like a tap dance number in it. And they're like, no, like the tap dance number doesn't go here. And she's like, but if I just do this, and like she keeps like trying to like weave it in. But and Kathy, her friend from the factory, is also in the play.
Okay.
because it's a very small town, like everybody knows each other. So during the rehearsals is when we start to see really how poorly Selma's vision has gotten because she can't do her blocking. Like she has to have somebody like tell her when to go on stage and like count how many steps she has to go. It's that severe.
Wow.
It's pretty significant at this point. So, but also keep in mind, she's working in a tool factory during the day.
Right. And she's doing little tiny things with pins.
With sharp objects.
Yeah.
So she's doing a lot of risky things. She also walks to work. And her vision has gotten so bad that she has learned to walk parallel to the train tracks to get to work.
Wow.
Which, do we really want a blind woman walking alone on train tracks at night sometimes? Yeah. So what I'm saying all this for is Selma doesn't always make the best choices. And that's going to be real important in about 2 minutes.
Okay.
So, but what we come to find out through just like little cutesy dialogue is that Selma has always loved musicals since she was a child, but she's gotten into this habit where she will stop watching musicals before the last number because she feels like the last number, it's all this build up and then it's over and you kind of feel like let down, even if it's like a happy ending. So she'll just watch a musical and then like leave before the last number or turn it off before the last number, which again will come up later in a not so nice way. So Kathy will take her to the movies, but again, her vision has become so bad that she has to like whisper to her what's happening on the big giant movie screen. So like she's basically
she
almost
really
completely
can't
blind.
see. Yeah.
So in her day-to-day life, probably due to the significant amount of stress that she's in, she daydreams a lot. And she's constantly daydreaming that she is in a musical. And that's how this weaves the story into a musical because all of her daydream sequences are musical numbers. So now Björk is singing and dancing. With all these other people in these musical numbers. But it is like very clearly like this is not reality. This is in her own mind. And it does start off very like cutesy where like she's at work and it's very boring, repetitive work. So she starts to daydream a little. But then she daydreams too much and the machine malfunctions and she breaks the machine and gets in trouble. And then like there's many times where it's like she's very close to becoming injured because she's daydreaming. So at work, they keep calling her out for daydreaming, not really knowing like the amount of stress this woman is under and all these things that are going on that are like why daydreaming is functional for her, essentially.
Right.
And I say that because I'm going to talk a little bit about daydreaming. That's what I'm covering this episode.
Okay.
And it is both described in this film and the way it's portrayed is truly as daydreaming. We're not talking dissociation here because, spoiler alert, some big trauma is about to happen. And it is still always crafted as daydreaming, not dissociation. So there's a difference. Basically, the main like difference for just layman's terms is daydreaming, you know you're daydreaming. Like, you know, like, oh, I wasn't focused. Like, oh, that was a cute little thing I just thought of, or that was nice to think of. Where dissociation, you're more losing time. You're outside of yourself. In a way that you're not in control of. So, as I said, she's daydreaming a lot. It's causing problems. And Kathy and Jeff, the people that she rents from, start to kind of pick up on her that her vision is not as bad. They see that she's memorizing eye charts in order to pass the vision test at her job, which they do every 6 months.
Wow.
And Kathy's helping with that, which I'm like, girl, not the best decision. Because they don't always work the same shift. So it's like, girl, you can't always help her, like if you're not there. And then Bill, the landlord guy. So I'm sorry, Jeff and Kathy are the friend and the guy who wants to be her boyfriend. So Bill, the landlord guy, basically goes up to Selma with his tale of woe that his wife is spending all this money and he's broke and the house is in foreclosure. And so she may not be able to rent the trailer if they lose the house and the land and blah, blah, blah. And it's this whole big sob story. And then he comes to the point and tells her that it's so bad that he's contemplated suicide. And so Selma promises, so this is another important part, promises to keep that a secret.
That's not something you should keep secret.
Yeah.
But okay.
She promises to keep it a secret and confesses to him that her vision is getting worse and worse and that she's saving up money to give her son a surgery. So once Bill finds out that she's losing her vision, he turns into a real gross guy. At one point, he's there and they're talking and then he pretends to leave so he can, in silence, stand in her fucking trailer and watch where she hides her money in.
Jeez.
And then sneaks out. Meanwhile, she's walking around the trailer, feeling around like can't see a fucking thing.
Jeez.
So then the next day, Selma goes to work. Her boss is kind of picking up on her vision issues because there's just been way too many mistakes. And he basically says to her, like, I think you should resign. I'll give you your final wages. But if your sight, because he doesn't know it's like never going to get better.
Right.
It's like, once your sight gets better, we'll hire you back. We'll bring you back on. But Kathy, the friend, is like, no, you just fired her. Like, you're not going to rehire her. And he's like, well, whatever. So now Jeff tries to get Selma to drive home with her with him because, she's all upset. She just lost her job. She's not like visibly showing it, but like you could tell she's really rattled by this. And instead she walks home along the railroad tracks. And this
Always
is a
good idea. Right.
This is the first and only time in the film where she does a musical number where we do not believe that she is daydreaming.
Okay.
So she's singing the song, which sadly is called I've Seen It All.
Jeez.
And basically saying like, I've seen this, I've seen this. So like if I don't see my grandchildren, if I don't see other things, it's okay because I've seen other beauty in the world. Very depressing.
Yeah.
So then she gets home. She goes to put the money, her final wages in the tin, and the tin is empty.
Of course it is.
And so she realizes the only person who knew about it was Bill. So she goes to the house to see Bill and runs into Linda. And Linda had like noticed the two of them like talking like privately a bunch of times. So she accuses Selma of fucking her husband. And Selma's like, no, like I'm not fucking your husband. Like I just want to talk to him because she doesn't want to tell Linda about the money and then Bill wanting to commit suicide and all that. So she's just trying to be like, no, like that's not what this is. Like I just want to talk to him about something. So this comes up later. But the phrase that Bill had used to Selma to keep it a secret is mum's the word.
Mm-hmm.
Now, reminder, Selma's first language is not English.
Right. So she doesn't get that.
Well, she explicitly asked him, like, what does that mean? But she doesn't understand that it's just a phrase that, like, if it's something serious, you can speak. She thinks it's like a legit promise. Like, mum's the word, I never tell anyone ever.
Right.
So she confronts Bill about the money. They have an argument. It's very, very dramatic. But remember, Bill's a police officer.
Mm-hmm.
So Bill has a gun and he pulls out the gun. And so she sees the money on his desk, is like, let me just take back my money. I know exactly how much I had. I'm not going to take any of your money. I just want what I saved.
Right.
And I think I wrote it down on here because it's a very specific amount, which again comes up later. I think that's like the beauty of this movie is there are these little details that mean so much later on.
Right.
Where if you don't catch it, you're like, oh my God, what was that? She had saved up $2,056.10.
In 10 cents.
So she goes to him and she's like, I just want my money back. I don't want a penny more. I don't want a penny less. I just want what I earned, what I saved. So he has like one of those big, like, when you keep your stuff at the bank.
The
safety
deposit box.
Yes.
A safety deposit box.
Yes, sorry, thank you. So he's got the safety deposit box on his thing. And so she picks it up and she's trying to have like the little, words are really hard today.
It's okay. We can do
it. The pouch that you keep the money in, like the fabric pouch. So she takes that out and she's trying to take out the money. But remember, she can't really see. So she like hands it to him and she's like, just give me my money. Like, here, you count it out for me. And he's holding on to the pouch and holding on to the money tightly and they're pulling back and forth. And he pulls out his gun and then they're fighting over the gun. And then she accidentally shoots him.
Oh.
But it's not like a lethal shot. But then the wife hears and she runs upstairs and he's like, Selma tried to rob me and tried to shoot me. And so Linda runs out to go find the police. And then Selma's like, please just give me my money. Like, I'm sorry. Like, well, I'll tell him what happened. Like, it's not that big of a deal. Like, let's just fix this. And now he's sobbing and he's like, just shoot me. Just shoot me, just kill me and end all of this. And then you can have whatever money you want and blah, blah, blah. And she's like, I don't want any extra money. I just want what I have. And he's like, won't let go of the money. And he literally puts the gun in her hand, wraps her hands around it and says, if you are my friend, you will kill me.
Okay.
And she's shaking and crying and she's like, no, I can't do this. And he's like, kill me, just do it. And it's like all this emotion. And so she does shoot him.
Jeez.
Multiple times.
Okay.
But only continues to wound him further. So she doesn't actually kill him. So now he's on the ground and he's truly suffering now because he's not dead. He's just shot a bunch of times. So then she grabs the safety deposit box and bashes in his head.
Okay. Where did that come from?
Because he said, kill me.
Okay.
So again, we have to remember Selma first language is not English. She takes a lot of these phrases and these things very literally.
Literally, yeah.
And she's also a people pleaser. So she does what people tell her to do. So Bill told her, don't tell anyone about this. So she won't. And Bill said, I want you to kill me. And she did.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Now, the part about this is Selma does not come across as a stupid person. So like I was waiting for that to come up as like she maybe has some sort of cognitive problem. That is not the case. At least they don't weave that into a story. So now she runs out of the house. And so this is where it gets really cloudy because this is when daydream versus reality really, really gets muddled from here until the rest of the film. And this is like middle of film.
Oh, wow.
So there's one part where Bill gets up. and he's okay, and she helps clean off the blood, and he says, it's fine, you'll be okay. But he's dead.
Right.
And then there's another part where she runs off, and then she's dancing in the forest, and then she comes back, and then Jeff finds her, and she convinces Jeff to take her to this doctor that she's going to pay cash to do surgery for her son in advance, but they won't do the surgery on him until he's older. So she's like paying several years in advance for the surgery. It's very murky. But I think it's meant to be. But then when she goes to this place, this hospital for the surgery, she goes into there's like a little stream. She goes into the stream, washes the blood off of herself because somehow Jeff doesn't see this shit.
Right. Of course not.
Jeff's a sweet baby angel. So washes it off, and she thinks she throws the evidence, that pouch of the empty pouch with the money. She thinks she throws it in the river and it gets washed down. But because she can't see, it's sitting right there on the edge of the river, on the bank of the river, which they then find later and use as evidence about this whole murder plot that they now say she's had. Now, part of this, and the songs are not, I was a big Björk fan, and Selma Songs was not my favorite album, but the songs are like interesting. So when she's doing all this, the song she's singing is titled Smith & Wesson, which for those who don't know, it's a type of weapon.
Right.
It's a brand of gun. And so then somehow after paying for Jean's surgery, and then she also, there's a comment she makes, and I don't think I wrote it down. She goes and she pays in cash to this actual doctor in a hospital. And she says, it's for my son. I can't give you his name, his first or last name, but he will give you this nickname. And that's how you know it's him. And it's a very unusual Czech nickname.
Okay.
So the doctor's like, okay, whatever. So she leaves, and then she decides that she's going to have Jeff take her to rehearsal for The Sound of Music.
Right.
Now, at this point, again, small town, everybody knows each other. Everybody knows there's a murder. Everybody knows it's Selma. Everybody's looking for her. So she rolls up at rehearsals, and the director's like, excuse me a minute, you guys can talk amongst yourself. And he calls the popo.
Right.
So now they're trying to keep her there while they're waiting for the police to come. And so they had told her, at one point she quit the play because of her vision, but then they recast her as one of the nuns who fight the Nazis.
Okay.
And so then they're like, oh, well, go do your tap dance number, because they were going to let her be a tap dancing nun. So they try to get her to do the dance. And that's when the police come in and arrest her. So then very quickly, she's already in court. And because let me go back, 1964 in the U.S., they automatically accuse her of being a communist sympathizer.
Oh, well, McCarthy era.
Because she's from the Czech Republic, and she's not here. And they said that she's pretending to be blind to exploit the American healthcare system.
Right.
Now, I don't know about you, but it's real, real hard. I think, if anything, the American healthcare system is exploiting us.
It is. And back then, there was even less. Basically,
Exactly.
You paid cash for most things.
Exactly. So Selma's getting really confused about the questioning. And of course, in court, they do ask things in a specific way to make you confused, even when English is your first language and you understand the way that things work. So they're definitely trying to frame her as this cold-blooded murderer that was just in it for the money. They don't even know that she used the money for the surgery. They think she just stole all this money for herself, and that she was fucking Bill for fun, and then his wife found out, and they just paint her to be this terrible person.
Right, this whole story.
Yeah. And all throughout it, her defense attorney, him not knowing that there's this other underlying stuff, he keeps asking her questions to be just tell me what actually happened. Just tell me the truth. And at one point she says, "Mum's the word."
Oh.
It's Selma, you're fucking yourself over here.
Yeah.
So at one point she had weaved this lie throughout the story that this famous Czech actor was her father.
Okay.
And the only reason she said it is because he was in a lot of musicals and she watched so many movies of him. So she just kind of fantasized that he was her father and then would tell people because who's going to know? Yeah.
Right.
Well, apparently they called this guy up to come all the way over from the Czech to testify in Washington State at her murder trial. And he's like, I've never met this woman. I don't know who she is. Now, I don't know the person, but I do think this particular actor is a famous musical actor. Not in the U.S. His name is Joel Grey. He's pretty old in this film, but I think he's he used to work with Bob Fosse. So yeah, he was a legit.
That's some real legit there.
Person, which I was thinking when I was watching it. Oh crap, I just lost it. Anyway, that I wondered how some of these people Catherine Deneuve and then this guy felt working with Björk, but you can even tell in the scenes that they're just so delighted by her, and maybe that's just really good acting.
Yeah,
but they're just driving with it, and I'm like, I like Björk, but she's kind of weird. And they're just like going with it, which maybe that too is like a testament to like she's a really good actress. I don't know. Like maybe like she proved herself to them. So they do this trial. Spoiler alert, they find her guilty. She's convicted of murder and sentenced to death.
Jeez.
So things just go from bad to worse here. Yeah. And then her friends, Kathy and Jeff, try to get her an appeal. They hire a different lawyer who says that like, hey, now that we know about like your son going blind, like they find out all the background stuff. And she thinks that they took the money from the doctor to pay this new attorney. And so she refuses her appeal. Yeah.
This girl.
Yeah. So now she's on death row. And in the state, apparently in 1964, in the state of Washington, execution was by hanging.
Okay.
So now she's on death row and kind of trying to cope with all that. And there's just one really, really upsetting scene where throughout the movie, like I said, she's daydreaming about musicals. And so anytime she hears sounds, especially repetitive sounds, it becomes a song in her head. And it's very soothing. And there's this one part where she's in like the special part of death row where like you stay right before they take you.
Mm-hmm.
And this one guard kind of like feels really bad for her. And so has developed a relationship with her. And she goes to check on her and she's like, how you doing, Selma? And she's like, it's too quiet here. She's like, I need noise. I need to hear something. It's driving me crazy. Like I just need to hear something and I'll be okay.
So you don't have stimulation that way.
Exactly.
You need to hear.
So this sweet baby angel prison guard gets the choir to sing through the vents for her. and then she does her own little rendition of my favorite things from it's such a sad movie. So then they find out that Gene does have the surgery to save his vision at some point. So they don't really say how much time passes. So I don't know if he got the surgery early or if it's been several years. At some point it gets very all condensed pretty quickly. And so the second to last song, which remember, we don't like the last song in musicals.
We don't like the last songs, right.
The second to last song in the musical is called 107 Steps because that's how many steps it is to where she gets hanged.
Okay.
Yeah. Super depressing. Yeah. So then, and I don't know if they do this for reals, but it was a lot to watch. She's now freaking out as anyone would if you're going to be hanged, and she won't stay still for them to put the noose around her neck. She doesn't want them to put the hood over her head because she can still at least see little flicks of light, and she doesn't want it to be too dark, but they won't hang her without the hood over her head. So they strap her to a board.
Okay.
So she's strapped to a board. They put the hood over her head, and then Kathy, who said she could not come and watch her execution, she does show up, and somehow, I don't know how, she gets to like run up to like where she's being hanged and like gives her a hug and tells her like Gina's going to be okay. And so Selma wears glasses, even though she's blind now. She gives her glasses to Kathy to give to Gene because Gene wanted to come to the execution, but they wouldn't allow it because he was too young, which she was fine. She's like, I don't want him here. Like, it's fine that he can't come. So now she's strapped to a board. They don't put the hood over her face, and Selma sings the next to last song. And the movie ends with her being hanged.
This is sad. It's a rough one.
It's probably one of the most depressing movies I've ever seen. Yeah. It was really, really good though. Like it was really well done. The prison guard, she's somebody that you would have seen. Oh, her name's Siobhan Fallon. If you looked her up, you'd be like, I know her. She always plays like the person on the side. She's always like a side character, but she was the prison guard, and she's like there at the execution. She's like sobbing, and then she like holds her body. It's like it's a lot. It was a lot. It was a lot. It was a lot. So that is the movie, and like I said, she wrote the soundtrack and sang most of the songs. And yeah, so we're going to talk about daydreaming. Try to make it a little lighter. Although, okay, so just one quote about the movie. If you're like, that sounds terrible, why did I watch that? Some of the quotes about it after it won awards was a superbly imaginative film that leaves conformity in shambles. Yeah, sorry, I just got distracted. When she wore her famous swan dress was when she won the Academy Award for Best Original Song for I've Seen It All. That song about that. And then there's another quote that says the film is relentlessly claustrophobic, but is the best movie about capital punishment as far as I'm concerned. Which I feel like the movie's not about capital punishment.
No, it's not. But
it's not. I feel like the movie is about tragedy and how the human mind and the human spirit can try to find that levity and joy even through it. So like literally, like the last minutes before she's dying, she's singing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that song, I will say, that's a rough song. That just sounds like an animal crying out before death. Wow. Like but it's like so moving to be like, this is a song that somebody wrote, and it displays this. So. So yeah, it won a lot of awards other than the Palme d'Or. But yeah, so I think you should see it. It is hard to watch, but worth it. It is also hard to watch because it's hard to find. So I watched it through Prime, but it was like one of those like limited free trials of like some other network through Prime.
Oh, through Prime. Yeah.
Yeah. I want to say Paramount, maybe. I don't know.
Okay.
But it's hard to find. It was never really publicly available because I remember when I watched it, I got it way back in the day when Netflix had DVDs. So
oh, wow.
That tells you how long ago it was that I saw it.
Yeah, our young listeners don't even know that's how it started. They used to get the DVD and then mail it back and get the other one.
Yeah. So let's see. So we're going to talk about daydreaming. So you may ask, what is daydreaming? Or maybe you don't ask. You tell me, what is daydreaming?
I mean, it's when you just kind of get lost in your head. Like, I don't see things in pictures. Like, I'm one of those people, so I don't daydream in pictures. But like, I definitely, if like you catch me staring, my brain, is just thinking about all different little things. It just is.
Yeah. So daydreaming is a normal part of everyone's cognitive process. It's defined as a spontaneous subjective experience in a no task, no stimulus, no response stimulation. And it includes unintended thoughts that intrude inadvertently into the execution of intended mental tasks. So this is like when you're driving and then you're kind of daydreaming about something.
Mm-hmm.
You're doing something, but you're doing something that is very repetitive, very rote. And so your mind can take that freedom to daydream a little bit.
Right.
Daydreaming, we also know, can happen in class, can happen at work, at other times as well, where maybe you're supposed to be doing something a little bit more structured, but it is under our control. We're aware that we're doing it. It may come on suddenly, but we can snap out of it at will.
Right.
It's not like you're now stuck in a daydream for the rest of your life. A single daydream typically only lasts a few minutes, but it is estimated that we spend 1/3 to 1/2 of our waking hours daydreaming.
Really? So are they just saying like your internal monologue is daydreaming?
No, I think that's different. Well, I think it depends on what your internal monologue is, because sometimes we'll have an internal monologue that's rehearsing a conversation we want to have or thinking about something we did have.
Mm-hmm.
But if your internal monologue is like, wow, I wonder what it would be like if like my life was a musical, and then like starting to create songs, that's daydreaming.
Right.
Yeah. Daydreaming is typically looked upon negatively because it represents non-doing in a society that emphasizes productivity.
Yeah, not working so hard.
Yeah. But it's actually pretty healthy for you to have that time to kind of, it is a type of creativity. It's almost like a type of play. Like think about that. Like as children, they get to play that stuff out. As adults, we don't give ourselves time for that. So that's kind of just the basics of daydreaming. And I'm going to link a lot. Well, we don't have to link all of them, but I found a lot of really good articles that discuss like the science of daydreaming and all that stuff. But it's pretty much like the basics of what I just said. A lot of people think that daydreaming interferes with concentration, but I think it's just like a different type of concentration. You're concentrating on a preferred
thing.
A preferred thought.
I mean, you can be like hyper focusing on what's going on inside, sort of.
Yeah. So what is this? I was just looking for other fun facts about daydreaming. Sorry, didn't mean to cough into the microphone. Harvard developed an app that asks test subjects what they are doing at any given moment during the day, so aka experience sampling, and to report their level of happiness and seeing if daydreaming correlates with happiness.
Okay. And so, I feel like you do it so much. How do you even know to like click the button that you just did it? You know what I mean? Like,
well, yeah, I'm sure this was, a very standardized study where, there were specific rules and tracking of it. But the quote that they take from this is that it is quite possible that we are a lot happier when we are fully immersed in our work than when we are daydreaming. I would beg to differ. I think it depends on what the work is.
Yeah.
I think it depends on what the work is. I think it depends on what the daydream is. I don't know about that, because I think the other thing is that they're identifying as if you are busy with something, you are in the moment. And when you're daydreaming, you are not in the moment.
Right.
So like kind of like paralleling with mindfulness, but I don't think they're mutually exclusive.
No.
Like I think you can be happy and daydreaming or be happy and working, and neither of them are necessarily canceling out the other stuff. That makes sense. Yeah. So that's an article from the MIT Press, which clearly I don't agree with. Observations in mice hint at the role of daydreams in remodeling the brain.
Okay.
So I want to know, how do we know that mice daydream?
Yeah, how do we know?
Tell me that.
What are their little mouse dreams about?
Cheese. It's about cheese. It's about cheese. What else would they think about?
It's about them beating up the cats and chasing the cats.
So I don't know how this translates to like real life and like people daydreaming, but basically they were showing them specific images in like a pattern. And in between, those showing them the images, they were then shown just a plain gray screen. And it showed that the neurons that were firing were different during the gray screen than during the visual, indicating some sort of different activity.
Okay.
And so they were having a stronger response, specifically in the visual cortex. So they were imagining or seeing something when there was nothing to be seen.
Interesting.
So that's how they figured out that mice daydream. I don't know if that's a thing. There's a nice little fake Shakespeare quote. To sit perchance to dream. That's not what it is. It's to sleep perchance to dream. Is that weird that I know a lot of Shakespeare quotes?
No. It fits. It completely
I mean, that's a pretty common one that most people know.
Yeah, but
it fits me.
It does.
I have read 23 of Shakespeare's plays.
Exactly. See? There you go. I've only read the ones that were required in school.
Well, I took that Shakespeare class, so that was 13 of them there, and then the ones that were required, and then I think I read like 2 or 3 others. Anyway, conclusions on this other study. A meta-analysis provides compelling evidence that maladaptive daydreaming is significantly associated with various mental health problems. So this is, I think it's more of that daydreaming specifically for avoidance.
Right.
Versus just it naturally happening and only lasting a few minutes and that kind of stuff. So that's interesting. So maladaptive daydreaming, bad. I could have figured that out from the name of it. Maladaptive, not adaptive.
So is daydreaming more correlated with something like ADHD because your attention?
So yes and no. I think it's the type of daydreaming and maybe the extent of daydreaming is more disruptive in ADHD.
Right. You get locked into it.
Yeah. But like according to these other sources that I'm linking in the show notes, everybody's daydreaming all the time. So maybe it's more of the ability to pull yourself back from it.
Right. Yeah. I can see that.
Like the ability to refocus.
Yeah.
Although, that is a common question I ask when I'm doing ADHD evaluations. Are you easily distracted? Is it by your mind wandering or daydreaming versus things around you? Although things around you can trigger your mind to wander. So they're not discrete. They can work together. Meta-analysis significantly associated with various mental health problems, challenging the notion that it is merely an intense form of normal daydreaming. So maladaptive daydreaming is more associated with more mental health disorders. So that's when the daydreaming, I would also assume too that when they say maladaptive, it's maybe the quality, the context of what you're daydreaming about is probably not as healthy as just like, I wonder why apples have 5 seeds. I don't know if they actually have 5 seeds. I just made that up, but that sort of thing versus well, I wonder what happened if I drive my car off the road. Like that's not an adaptive.
That's an intrusive thought.
And I was going to say, everybody uses the term intrusive thoughts. We all have them.
Yes.
So if we all have them, are they really intrusive?
I mean, you don't mean them to come, so.
You don't mean them to come, but you're also not following them.
No.
Yeah.
When you do, that's the problem, the maladaptive issue right there.
So this other article from the Cleveland Clinic says maladaptive daydreaming is a behavior where a person spends an excessive amount of time daydreaming, often becoming immersed in their own imagination, typically a coping skill to manage anxiety, but it can disrupt work, hobbies, friendships, and relationships. So it's the amount of time.
Right. I can see that. Yeah.
And it's the vivid and detailed daydreams versus just like these more general things. It is correlated with ADHD, anxiety, certain types of depression, dissociative disorders, and obsessive compulsive disorder. So that is the maladaptive daydreaming. So that's all I've got for today.
I mean, it's an easy topic after a crazy movie.
After a rough movie. But I will say, I did thoroughly enjoy it. And I will say...
I mean, it sounds like an award-winning type movie. I mean, it definitely does.
Yeah. As I get older, it's harder for me to focus on a full movie. And I was able to focus on this, even without I need to cover it for the pod. I've seen it before, so I could have daydreamed or zoned out during parts of it, and I didn't.
Okay. It kept you
I do love a musical, though, so it might have been that.
I do like musicals. It's one of those things that, who invented musicals? That we just break out into song and dance.
The ancient Greeks.
Did they?
I don't know. I just made it up.
I'm I'll believe you.
The ancient someones.
But the fact that, you just randomly break out into song and dance throughout your story, it's just...
Is it weird that I find it stranger that you break out into dance than you break out into song?
Yeah, I mean, there's a little more extra involved with the dancing. I mean, because then if it's just song, is it a musical or is it an opera?
Why are they different?
Because
they're not
Evita was an opera. Evita, spoken word was in song, the dialogue was in song, but there was no dancing.
Well, I think that's more of the production of it. But I mean, I feel like they're both musicals. There's not to be dancing. There's not a ton of dancing, in certain numbers. But it's Rent is a popular one. There's not a ton of dancing in that.
Right.
Like only certain characters dance in that. Or like Hamilton, not a ton of dancing. It's more like posing and standing.
Right. But it's like that, yeah. I guess it's not dancing in that same respect. Yeah, I get it.
And I was right. The roots of musicals can be traced back to ancient Greek theater, which combined music, dance, and drama.
I mean, I knew theater, but I didn't know about, like, the dancing and singing part.
And I spell theater Theatre.
Yes, because that's the fancy way.
The theater. I attend the theater.
We were talking about that, like why there's like, how do you spell gray? Grey, Gray. Like there's the fancy way and there's the American way.
Or lavender.
I didn't know that one could be spelled different.
Lavender or lavander. Lavendr or Levander.
Okay.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, there's just a couple words that, we borrowed from the true English, the Brits, and we changed the spelling and made it American.
Wait, to answer your question, a musical combines elements of theater, music, and dance to tell a story, distinguishing it from a play or an opera. While plays primarily rely on spoken dialogue, musicals integrate songs and dance numbers to express emotions and advance the plot. Operas, in contrast, are set entirely to music, with characters singing all of their lines. Right. So I think that's the difference, the breaks in it.
Yeah.
Although I feel like... now I'm second guessing myself. I was going to say 6. I don't think anything is spoken. I think it's all sung, but I could be wrong on that one. I could be wrong. I know I've seen a musical where it's all sung and nothing is spoken, but I can't remember what it is.
Okay.
Off the top of my head.
Then it's an opera.
No.
Because there's dancing.
Look, dancing and singing at the same time can be exhausting. Trust me, I've done it. It's a lot.
It takes a lot of coordination.
I enjoy it, but it's a lot. It's tiring for an old fat lady like me. It's a lot to do. I did it in my car last night driving home, and I had my own musical.
You had your own musical?
I had my own musical, and it was set to Rihanna's Where Have You Been?
Okay.
I had a whole dance break and everything.
Oh, my goodness. I wish I was driving next to you.
I don't think you do. I don't think you do.
Were the other cars looking at you? Were they like...
It was at like 10:30 on a road that was doing construction. So it's probably just the construction people who are like, what is she doing?
That's okay. She's having fun.
The first musical comedy was The Black Crook in 1866 that opened in New York.
Okay.
But I feel like there had to be ones in other countries. Like,
yeah,
we didn't make everything.
No, certainly did not.
We did not make everything. Anyway, that's all I got. Also going to keep rambling about some of my favorite musicals like Les Miserables. Phantom of the Opera.
I need to go downstairs and tell my dog to shut up. She's been barking for like 10 minutes straight.
Jesus Christ.
I've seen that one.
That's a good one. That's one of my faves. It's one of my top 5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
I think I like it because it's a rock opera.
Yes. No, there's a lot of good musicals out there. I'm a fan of musical movies, musical, plays, but the husband is not so much a musical fan. Like, he's not so into it. He's like, I don't get why they're singing and dancing. Like, it doesn't matter. They just are. But I've always shown the kids like The Sound of Music, some of the clips from that. I don't think they've ever watched the whole movie. I don't think they would get the nuns and the Nazis reference.
Yeah. Did they see Into the Woods? That was one that a lot of kids saw because it's...
I don't know. I mean, maybe they watched it without me, but I don't think I watched it with them.
I hope they didn't, because even though it's fairy tale based, there's a lot of saucy moments.
Are there? So I don't.
You've never seen Into the Woods?
I don't remember. I'm not sure. I know of it, but I don't remember if I've watched it.
There's a lot of scandalous stuff that happens in Into the Woods. Yeah.
All right, let's wrap it up because we have more to record tonight.
We do.
All right, so
I'll sing for you next time.
Thank you for listening to Medical Media Mixer.
The perfect cocktail. Cheers.
Thanks for tuning in to this episode of the Medical Media Mixer podcast. If you enjoyed the conversation, don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review us on your favorite podcast platform. Your support helps others find the show. Want to keep the conversation going? Follow us on social media. We're at Medical Media Mixer Podcast on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, and on Pinterest, the Medical Media Mixer board.
If you'd like to support the show and help us grow, check us out on Patreon. Patreon.com/Medical Media Mixer Podcast. And on Buy Me a Coffee, buymeacoffee.com/Medical Media Mixer Podcast. If you have a topic idea, feedback, or just want to say hi, send us an email at medicalmediamixer@gmail.com. You can also stream all of our episodes and find more info on our website, medicalmediamixer.podbean.com. We're available on all major podcast platforms, so no matter where you listen, we're there. Thanks again for listening, and until next time, keep mixing medicine and media.